We did the drum machine, we did an electric guitar. We are now going to do a microphone. Speakers are off, Logic is ready to create a new file, my levels are turned down. I've got a microphone here, an XLR cable, and I'm going to plug the mic in first. Then I'm going to plug the XLR in to channel 1 on the M audio interface. And at this point, if I want to, because this is a condenser mic, now I can turn the phantom power on. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm also going to create a file for Logic. I just want one track of audio right now. I'll click on my mixer button. And I'm going to file, save as, mic check. New folder. Let's call the new folder mic check. So I've got a folder, and inside that folder I'm saving a file called mic check. Okay, now I'm going to record enable my first track, and I'm going to bring up my gain. And even sitting over here, I can see that the gain is jumping now. I'm going to come back and test the vocal mic, or it could be any type of mic. Check 1 2, check 1 2. It's a little hot, peaking at about -11, so I'll turn it down a little bit. Reset my level by clicking on that number. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Now it says -14. I'm okay with -14. We're going to record just a little bit and make sure that it's working. Now, we have a microphone hooked up. For the first time, this thing is listening to the room. Up to this point, we have had things plugged in that weren't listening to the room. The drum machine was isolated from the room. The electric guitar was isolated from the room. So you could use the speakers while you were playing those things to listen. We can't really do that with the microphone. Not without extreme care and with good reason. It's much better to leave the speakers turned off while you're recording, or have headphones on. Don't have headphones hooked up right now, so the speakers are staying off while we record. Then once it's done recording, we can turn those on to listen. Check 1 2, check 1 2. This is with the microphone kind of below my nose, so it should be getting a lot more consonants right here. If I drop a little lower and the microphone's more like lined up with the bridge of my nose, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3, check 1 2 3. It should have a little bit less consonant in it versus check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3. I'm also about 12 inches away, which is a pretty standard distance. I don't have a pop filter right now, but that's okay. We're just trying to make sure this thing's working. So I hit stop. I'm going to go ahead and power my speakers on now. And really, you could have had your speakers powered on at this point anyway. You just don't want to turn on your input monitoring, because that's going to pass the signal through to the room that you don't want the mic picking up. So the little I for input monitoring can go on and off with other things like an electric guitar and a bass. And if this mic was in a different room, then it would be fine, because the mic's not going to pick up the speakers in a different room. So an engineer who had their vocalist next door could certainly put input monitoring on and listen, as long as the isolation was there. But with us being in the same room, we can't do that, or we probably don't want to without having a big struggle on our hands to make things turn out okay. I'm going to leave everything flat, turned off, just zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to listen to things here. Check 1 2. This is with the microphone kind of below my nose, so it should be getting a lot more consonants right here. If I drop a little lower and the microphone's more like lined up with the bridge of my nose, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3, check 1 2 3. It should have a little bit less consonant in it versus check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2 3, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Okay, so I was right. Besides there being more consonant in that, with the mic down here versus aimed up or aimed down from above, of course it's a little bit louder too. So I've got a little bit more volume overall when it's lined up right with my mouth versus a little high. That's really all we want to do. We just wanted to make sure that this thing worked. We want to practice using XLR cables with the audio interface and just line checking. So we're going to turn everything off in such a manner as to not cause our speakers to pop. I'm going to turn my volume down. I'm going to file save. Close out of Logic. I'll turn my speakers off. And last but not least, I'm going to turn my phantom power off after the gain stage has been zeroed out, turned all the way down. And you always want to wait for maybe about 20-30 seconds after you've turned the phantom power off, because it takes that long for the phantom power to drain from the system. It's really a good habit to not just kill your phantom power and then jerk the cable. Generally speaking, phantom power is not a good thing to have turned on when you're plugging or unplugging anything. It's not going to break it, it's just not particularly good for it. So that's probably been long enough. Now I can unplug my mic. And that's all there is to this exercise. I hope you get in and out real quick and feel good about it. Good luck.